Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Today we are joined by longtime industry veteran, formulator, and mad scientist at Dragon Pharma Labs, Mr. Drew Peters. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing well, man. It's a Monday. I've already been at it for 3 hours this morning because innovation never rests. And quite frankly, I think of work when I shouldn't, like when I'm at the beach. But that's what makes me creative, and it's a blessing and a curse.
I tend to get those bursts of productivity and creativity at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then your brain just starts spinning, and you know you need to get the fuck to sleep, and then it eludes me.
I'm never that bad. Usually I sleep through the night. It's just like I'll think of things at the most random time. Like for whatever reason, I tend to think of creative ideas, especially for names, when I'm doing food prep. Like I'm slicing chicken breast, and I'm like, you know what I should call a vegan protein? I'm not gonna say it on the podcast. I can't reveal it yet. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a cutting chicken. How ironic is this right now? You know?
Awesome, man. So you have been in the industry a long time. You've worked with several companies and done a lot of formulas over the years. And you and I actually share a bit of history. Both we worked at one time with Supplement Reviews, Tommy, when that site was still up and running. You left right when I was coming on there, and Gerhard at Fitness Informant took over the reins after I left. But walk us through how you got into this industry and what led you to where you are now with Dragon Pharma.
Okay, well, quite frankly, it all kind of started my love of supplementation. I mean, all right, let me ask you this question. Let's see if we're on the same page here. How old are you, sir?
30. I'll be 35 in August.
Okay, so I just turned 30 last week, so probably about the same answer. What was the very first pre-workout you ever used?
Cool. I think it was No Explode. Probably. Yeah, No Explode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your first, that's what kind of honestly got me into supplements. When I was, I believe, a sophomore, junior in high school, no explosive thing. I've always been athlete trained, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, my senior year wrestling, I was wrestling. I threw a kid. My elbow hit the mat, and my wrist, I broke a bone in my wrist, the scaphoid. I wrestled for 2.5 months more with it broken. I didn't know it was broken. I thought it was a sprain, and I was like, oh, if it was broken, it would hurt more. But that's just me being a competitive, crazy fuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, fast forward, I'd have a cast during track season, didn't heal, played an entire summer of baseball with a broken throwing wrist because I love baseball, and I had surgery that fall.
Mm-hmm.
2 surgeries later, I couldn't lift. I was associated with lifting for cumulatively like a whole year, upper body. So my time when I was a freshman was kind of a recluse. I still kind of am to a degree. But I spent all my time kind of online, honestly, reading about nutrition, supplementation. I was just obsessed with like, how can I get back to training faster? I would love, bench press numbers and shit like that. A high school kid, man, I want my bench press back. I was so like, how do I get back faster?
Right.
So kind of segued from that, where my interest in supplementation and nutrition, which honestly I think is a blessing, where I broke my wrist, where I took the time and had nothing better to do but become obsessed with nutrition and supplementation. I was going to school for exercise science and dietetics. I completed my double major. And lo and behold, I happened to come across the supplementrating.com was the original name of the site, the Supplement Rating. And there was a Q&A on that. That's all I had. There was no forum. People would ask product questions. Me being bored in my college dorm room as a freshman, like, I've researched a lot of this. I'll help people out. I started going through, I probably answered like 300 or 400 questions because nobody else answered them. And I started being known as like, oh, Petey answers all the questions. So people start asking directly the questions, and they go, you don't have to put his name, he'll answer them. And it kind of caught Tom's interest. We started talking. I'm like, dude, what you need is a forum. It added the forum to it, and it kind of took off from there. So lo and behold, this was in late 2008, early 2009. Eventually, Tom brought me on board full time after being a moderator for 3 years to actually work for the website. So I did a large part in reviewing things, creating content, and also kind of sparked my interest in like, people started asking me like, hey, could you help us with our brand, things like that. It kind of like, got the idea spinning where, I kind of want to get into the formulating part of this.
Right.
And, I had the background for it, and a lot of it self-taught, because you don't go to college to formulate dietary supplements.
Correct.
But it kind of got me in. I started, kind of marketing myself as a formulator, R&D scientist, and hey, here's my knowledge, my background, my experience, and, a lot of it learned, through some very good role models, one of them being David Sandler, a few other amazing influences along the road. But it kind of started by being on the backside of the industry at supplementreviews.com, reviewing other companies' supplements, then kind of come to the forefront, helping brands kind of consult them to guide them as they make stuff. And it's interesting because I have that experience. When I create something, I can see what the weak points are. I can see kind of what the consumer's looking for, but then also I know how to tell the story to make the product appeal. So having that experience, and then I left supplementreviews.com for bigger things. But in the meantime, I ended up running 2 GNC stores as a manager. So I worked on the sales front side.
Oh, wow.
I also managed Complete Nutrition. This was in Omaha in 2015 before I moved to Florida to work at VPX. So it's interesting. I've been on the back industry, on the consumer side of it. I've been on the store side of it, and now I'm on the
The
formulating
brand side of it, yeah.
and that's where I thrive. But kind of cumulatively working consultants, so on and so forth, built a reputation. The full-time gig was a scientific editorials manager and product development manager at VPX. I helped create that monster and bang. For the good and bad.
For what it is now, yeah. So you knew James Gracely pretty well then.
He actually came in right after I had left. At the very time when I was stepping out, that's when he kind of came there. I worked, actually I can't say that because I had a non-compete for a year with VPX, so I'm not going to say where I worked during that time.
Good idea.
I didn't work in the industry. I was a consultant for nutritional purposes. Anyway, in the meantime, I helped out many brands as a consultant, and the day my non-compete ended on June 1st, 2017, I became on full-time as a consultant at ProSups as Director of Scientific Affairs, full-time in office that November. I was at GAT briefly 2 years later for 4 months, and then the opportunity to move back to Florida from Connecticut to work at Dragon Pharma arose, and it turned out to be an amazing fit. Got us back home where my wife is from South Florida, Miami, and here we are. So in a nutshell, that kind of summarizes the journey to where we are now.
Fantastic. All right, so you got started answering questions on the forums, or what became the forums on supplement reviews, and you were a supplement reviewer yourself. Since that time, there's been numerous channels that have exploded and done supplement reviews. How do you feel the evolution of that little niche of our industry has evolved, and what are your thoughts on just supplement review sites in general?
Well, honestly, supplementreviews.com is an absolute dumpster fire these days. I have no worries in saying that. It's not even owned by Tom anymore. He sold it to an actual brand, which is one of the worst things he could have done. There's no credibility. Yeah. It does seem that I kind of started the genesis of what everybody is trying to do. I'm not taking credit for that, but I was one of the first. We were supplementreviews.com, for God's sakes. And I'm very happy that we were able to kind of get this ball rolling, that people want to know more about the brands, because there's all these brands popping up. I kind of got in when pre-workouts were becoming big, everything was exploding. There's nobody holding brands accountable. So I think it's awesome that all these sites out there, like, Price Plow's a big one, Supplement Snoop, of course, Fitness Informant, they all do a good job of covering these things. Stack does a great job in terms of media exposure. But one, it helps people become aware of new things. It'll keep you up to date. It also kind of gives a real deep dive in terms of what the products are, how they do, how they work. I mean, there's a few things I do differently, but it's not my brand to say in terms of reviewing things. But then again, I'm on the brand side. But I get it. You have to also make money. But then again, you have to remain unbiased. And I'll keep my thoughts to myself on that as of recent events. But that's all I will say. But I think it's actually helped the industry a lot because it holds people accountable. And it's interesting because everybody's a supplement reviewer now. Everybody has a YouTube channel. Like, everybody send me free shit. I'll put it on my YouTube. I'm like, who are you? Like, excuse me? So it's good and bad. There's the annoying ones, but then there's the credible ones that shine. So I think it does help. And it gets people involved. It gets people talking. And, but then again, like, I think one of the things that's lagging still is there is a lot of groupthink, a lot of herd mentality. And I kind of called this out. I'm sure you watch my IG stories. I think Saturday, I was like, you know what? The problem is brands get in the habit where they do get caught up where, yes, you do want to make money, but a lot of people, they kind of make things and formulate things kind of lazily. They're like, what am I going to put in a product because this is what people want? Right. You have to have a balance between that versus, like, what are you doing because you want to make the best product versus, I always go to this, I'm going to put 8 grams of citrulline in my fucking pre-workout. I'm like, bro, like, that's so unoriginal. Like, I've never used citrulline in any of my products, and I don't plan to. Now I'm kind of like against it because, like, man, I'm going to show you that I never have to use it because just to prove a point. Yeah. But the thing is, it's a good example. When a certain guy, may or not rhyme with him, started putting, so I did there, putting 8 grams of citrulline in this pre, and now it seems like everybody does the same thing. I'm like, okay, wow, you did 2 things differently. It's the same product, guys. Go different. Go rogue. And I can work against you, too. Because, why didn't you use citrulline? I'm like, because I use nitrosamine a gram and a half. There's a third-party study that says it compares to, if not outperforms, citrulline. Like, what more do you want? Yeah. Anyway.
Good points. Good points there. I will say with your angle with formulation, let's start diving into a little bit of where you start from when you're designing a product. Do you come up with the product concept first? Do you have a specific ingredient that you want to build the formula around? How do you walk us through your methodology when you approach supplement formulation?
Okay, that all kind of depends on what the product is. The main thing that I always ask, like for example, my CEO is amazing here. His name's Jader. I'm not saying that because he's my boss, but the thing is, he's the best at this because he pays me to do my job. He trusts me to do my job. And as you've seen some of the stuff I've released, that's all me because I get to have that creative flow, the flavors, the design. So the question I do have for my bro, I'll make you the best product, but what I have to know is one, what do you ideally have us competing against? And two, what price point? Because I'm also going to play into that as well.
Correct.
And from that, I'll make the best possible product. For example, like if when I made High Daikon at ProSubs, right? That's a premium pre-workout. It's 20 servings. It's more expensive. It was not a cheap product to make. In that case, we're competing against pre-gym. We're competing against pre-cage. We're competing against these other premium pre-workouts at a more expensive price point. Like, all right. So I'll look at what those products do, and I'll cover a good point here in a second. With that being said, okay, what am I competing against? In this case, like for say, the task came up, we need to make Venom. In that case, the Venom revamp that I did here, pardon ESPN in the background, is that, okay, it's a pre-workout. The idea is to smack you in the face. It's high-stim, high-energy, hard-hitting pre, for that stim junkie. In that case, I don't want to make something that's low the stims. I also want the benefit to it. With that being said, okay, what do I want to accomplish here? The main emphasis where I've dumped my COGS, for those listening, cost of goods. What do I want to accomplish here? It has to hit hard, it has to hit efficaciously. That's the main thing. I have to be able to justify and explain everything I put in the product, why I put it in there, how it works in synergy, and justify including it. I hate putting something in there just to put it in there,
Yeah.
So that being said, for that, okay, what do I want to accomplish with it? In that case, then in my mind, I kind of have, okay, for this function, I'll have ingredients pop my head. Okay, I like these for this. All right, cool. Let's plug that in. Let's see how it works. Okay, let me see. What else I want here? Just something for, like, say, the pump aspect. It's not mainly for pumps, but I do like nitrogen. There's multiple benefits to it. A lot of bang for the buck. Okay, let's put nitrogen. So it depends on what I'm looking to do. But then again, I kind of build it, of course, what we're competing against, how much money I have to work with. Because, I can make anything, but I'm not selling it for $70. I can't make a pre-workout that costs that much. So that's kind of the methodology. I kind of look at what am I competing against first and go from there. And the other part too, with that being said, is that what was it? Shit. I'll have to come back to it. The thought escaped me because I was rambling, but that's kind of a brief way I go about it. Sometimes I'll see something, I'm like, what's missing here in this space? This X product. And I've done that a few times too. So sometimes, it's missing because like, oh, I could see it being really cool, something I'd personally buy, but then for the vast majority of people, we have to make money. Like, they're probably not going to be a lot of people to buy this. It's probably expensive. They may not see the benefit. And that's kind of cool because you can shift. Like a person's done a great job of that, and I talk with him pretty regularly, is Chris Waldron at Inspired. Right?
Yeah, Chris is awesome.
Cool shit. I'm like, bro, you made a greens product, and you didn't just make a greens. You put in cool things. There's adaptogens. There's probiotics. Like, dude, that's a cool fucking product.
Yeah.
It's different versus, we have greens. Okay, is this another greens product? I don't like to have a product just to have a product. So that's another thing too. How can we make it different? Oh, that's actually it. So let me ask you a question. If you were to ask me, and this is sets up beautifully, I coached my sales guys in this, right? When High Daikon came out, right? What does High Daikon do?
What does it do? What does High Daikon do?
I'm going to keep it relevant. I'm going to keep it to what does Venom do?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So what is the purpose of Venom, or what does it do?
Okay. Well, the purpose of Venom, it gives us high intensity energy, focus, training endurance, and pumps. Okay. Now, ask me over here. What does this competitive product do? Go ahead.
What does competitor X do? What does their pre-workout do?
Well, it delivers high intensity energy, focus, training endurance, and pumps. Well, it does the same thing, right? I'm like, well, yes, it's a pre-workout. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. But the difference is I want to use different pathways to accomplish a more efficient and novel pathway compared to what the other person did. Rather than sticking to just plain citrulline. Once again, I'm beating on this dead horse here for vasodilation. Okay, we're going to go to angle nitrogen, and I'm also going to take a two-prong approach. One of my favorite sales pitches for, say, Mr. Veins, which are stim-free, or the Venom, for example, like Mr. Veins, we take a three-prong approach for addressing vasodilation maximal pumps. Cell volume, hydration, hyperstatus through Hydromax. You have blood vessel relaxation and overall just increased nitric oxide production from nitrogen, but you're also addressing the angle where you're preventing the breakdown of nitric oxide in the bloodstream, prolonging the effect with S7. You're taking three separate pathways to increase the pumps in nitric oxide production. Like, oh shit, that's cool, versus, we put citrulline in there. I
Yeah.
just tell a story, man. Half the beauty of what you do is the story you tell. And that's a good thing I take pride in, is being able to explain complicated shit simply to get people excited for it. So I think that's a good point that a lot of people miss out on. Everybody, here's the thing, you can only reinvent the wheel so many times. But the thing is, how do you make it more efficient, more exciting, more novel, more innovative, give somebody a different cool experience? I got a message the other day, this guy was legit. I love getting shit like this. It's the best compliments ever. Dude, I was mind blown. I tried the Venom and Veins deck the other day. FYI, I was fucking blown away because I went full blast. I did a big scoop of Venom, big scoop of Veins. I was more than I expected. Most times when you think, oh, a pre is going to be 20 plus grams, and then the pump's going to be like an R15. Dude, yours was like 16 grams total, and I had one of the best workouts of my life. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Because there's a purpose, it's to the point. And I guess this kind of rubbed Jada the wrong way. I'm going to call Ben out in price flaw here. We were talking about the Mr. Vein. She's like, well, it's a simple product. And he's like, bro, what the hell? It's novel. But the thing is, I don't put extra shit in there that doesn't need to be in there just to do it. That's Correct. The point. It's focused, intense, novel, but it's not the kitchen sink.
I was going to say, do you, with your approach to formulation, do you find consumers, because we came from a point where we had the prop blended pixie dusted things and the ultra concentrates, if you will, where we were led to believe this 5.5 gram scoop is going to do everything that a 48 gram scoop pre-workout could. Then we went to the complete opposite, where it was like the scoop war. So we had pre-gym racing, we had pre-cage, everybody trying to get like 20, 25, 30 gram scoops. And now it seems like we're pulling back a little bit, and we've had a major explosion of stim-free offerings out there, really quality things just like Veins is. What I'm wondering is, do you find that consumers from your end, since you've got formulation experience, retail experience, being a form and supplement reviewer and now a formulator, where is the consumer mindset? Or is it so diverse that you just kind of have to pick your own pathway as a brand and chase that consumer and what you believe in your own ideals for what they want?
I think it's going to be a blend. The cool part, and I think a reason a lot of people gravitate, not honestly, like, it's kind of cool at the same time, kind of very humbling that people follow where I go because they like my formulations. Because I'm an actual competitive bodybuilder, inked, whatever. I'm an interesting character, right? And the thing is, this too is like, who you see some people making some of this shit. Like, I couldn't tell you who formulated, like competitor X. There's a few very visible people like out there, like Van Morphogen Ben, right? He's a competitive bodybuilder. People know him, and that's a whole shit show going right now with one of those review channels. But the thing is, he's a face to the brand. He lives the lifestyle,
right?
So what I've kind of noticed, there's people, they don't care about it as long as it hits them like a truck. I just want to have a cracked out workout. I don't care if it tastes like fucking garbage. I just want the crack. In my opinion, one of the worst things that ever happened in this industry, both good and bad, was things like Jack 3D, the original C4, all the DMAA stuff. Because here's the problem, is that you kind of get that going, and people, like, I'll cover this in a second here, but like how when you have that not available anymore, essentially replacing a drug.
Yeah.
How do I compete with that? You had, Jacked or whatever, then High Tech came back on the market, started dropping DMA again. And I was in ProSeps, like, how do we outsell this shit, man? We can't sell that because, we're too big, we're too visible, we'll get in trouble legally. I'm like, well, bro, like, how do I compete with drugs? I mean, I can make a cool nootropic product, but I can't have it compared to Adderall.
Right.
So it in a way hurt our industry because, there's certain people that, like, they don't care what it is, don't care how sketchy it is. If they see DMAA, they're going to buy like 5 tubs, even if it's $100 a piece.
Yep.
Same with pro hormones. Back in the day when pro hormones came on the scene, like, oh, it's not as good as this. I'm like, well, it's also not a steroid precursor. So, like, what do you expect? You're not going to compare it to
apples and oranges.
therapy. So honestly, I feel that there's people like that. They don't care what it is as long as it hits them like a truck. There's some fucking garbage products out there. And I'm not going to be specific, but they this horrible branding. It's like all a bunch of, you'll know what I'm talking about, like clowns and a bunch of this obnoxious shit. And you look at it and like, what is in this? What is Amphiberry? What the fuck is that supposed to be? There's nothing on it, but then people take it, it hits them like a truck, and like, oh man, it's great shit ever. I'm like, you just take it because you like it how it feels. At the same time, you can make the best pre-workout in the world, but if like it's boring or you don't market it correctly, people are like, oh man, I don't feel it. It's not working. Like pre-gym, for example, you're not going to take a customer that loved Jacked and swears by it to go to pre-gym, give them credit there with a clinical dosing, all that stuff, and be like, oh man, it's the best pre ever. They're not going to feel it as much, right?
Right.
So I think that hurt us. It did set us back, but I think that now it's kind of been gone for a while. People realize, okay, I'm not going to get that anymore, so I can find something this close that reached their expectations. And me, in my opinion, like, bro, here's the thing, DMAA and those things, it can have a lot of negative sides. It's a vasoconstrictor. It can have people issues with ED. it's you're replacing a drug. So
Very true.
I know it's a quick ramble, but that's the thing people need to keep in mind. You can't replace a drug with a naturally occurring legal supplement
Yeah.
for the most part.
Along the lines of stimulants, what I noticed in Venom, there is no areogenesis extract or PEAs or N,N-dimethylphenethylamines. What is your take on that ingredient? Do you like it? Do you not? Do you think it should be in pre-workouts? Because that's basically the only kind of like hard-hitting euphoric ingredient we have today. Aside, I'm not going to lump dynamine and teacrine in there yet because those are kind of, they don't have any impact on the cardiovascular system really whatsoever.
Exactly.
So.
The last remaining things, quite frankly, the previous version of Venom, when I came to Dragon, did have the areogenesis in there. Mm-hmm. The issue with this is, as soon as I saw the name, all right, that has to go. Because one is, here's the thing, areogenesis in general, or the same issue happened, and I'm going to walk you back in history here. The thing with DMAA, right? It's not a dietary supplement. It's considered a new dietary ingredient or synthetic. So the thing is, how this kind of became a fiasco, became a gray area. DMAA is not a dietary ingredient. It's a synthetically created stimulatory ingredient. Supposedly it's found in nature in things like geranium stem. So what was happening is people were putting synthetic DMAA in a product, listing it as a naturally occurring geranium stem extract, and that's where the big issue came from. You're putting a synthetic substance, listing it as natural. Mm-hmm. The same thing happened with DMHA. The same thing happened now I kind of think with areogenesis, where a lot of people, I'm not saying who, and I'm not accusing anybody, but in general, DNHA could be a component of areogenesis, so on and so forth, and that's kind of why it's used. Or even then, with areogenesis, one is one of those gray area ingredients. Two, I'd prefer not to have it in my products because we're going to get big soon. I don't have that kind of exposure if that becomes a problem. Yeah. I don't really think it's worth that risk with that one. And two, it's really hard to get. It's expensive, quite frankly. Like, back in December, January, you couldn't get it in the country. It was very hard. The only stuff sitting around was the N,N-phenethylamine chemical.
Yeah, just isolated alkaloid. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not dietary supplements. You're not supposed to use that shit. So the same thing was happening. Brands are putting that in their product instead of the areogenesis extract. That's not legal. So I personally don't think it's worth the risk. I personally, from the effects you get from it, don't think it's like that impactful because you're not going to replace things like DMAA. Yeah. It's just not worth the hassle from a legal standpoint, from a formulation standpoint, from a sourcing standpoint. So that's why I moved on from it. And you've seen the stuff you put out, focusing on things like have a nice acute stimulatory effect that, still hit. Like Venom still has 400 milligrams of caffeine in the big scoop.
Yep.
Plus the dynamine.
Plus yohimbine. So, yeah.
If you don't feel that, I'm not just selling my product, you need to reevaluate your adrenal health and your stimulatory tolerance. You need to take a break because shit, man.
Agreed. Earlier you mentioned the companies are doing kind of like Me Too stuff for also-rans where, you see company X using 6 grams of citrulline, so we have to throw in 6 grams of citrulline there, or we're going to have the citrulline wars like we had the caffeine wars. We're going to go up to 7 grams, 8 grams, 12 grams, yada, 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 even though the data shows your body can only maximally use like 10 grams of pure L-citrulline at one time. What do you think is driving that? And how did you find at some of the other places you worked, they took part in trying to be an also-ran? And I know Dragon Pharma is not going that. You've already said that. That's not your approach with formulation. But do you feel that is a plague in the industry? And what is it just brought out of insecurities or what?
I think it's a combination. For example's sake, I can guarantee you, and quite frankly, I don't care. This isn't being mean. It's just being very honest. When we released Icon without the citrulline, of course, people circle back like, oh, we should have put citrulline in here. I'm like, bro, you trust us to make a badass product. We did, and now you're bitching because you had like one person complain, oh, I wish there was citrulline as a store owner, and now you're panicking that the world is burning because it doesn't have citrulline. Yeah. I think it's just kind of annoying, and that's my question. I ask people this point blank, and I always do this. I'm like, do you generally think citrulline is amazing because your belief in it, the data you've seen on it, this best ingredient, or are you putting it in there because everybody else is? I guess also part two, I think people like is it's relatively inexpensive. It does make a nice size scoop. If you're adding 6 to 8 grams of an ingredient, it makes the pre-workout seem more like full premium, like you're getting more for your money. It's an illusion. And it's not a bad ingredient. I will admit that. It's not bad. Trust me, it's a good ingredient. It's used for a reason. I just think there's more efficient and cooler and more novel ways to get things done. But with that being said, it is kind of annoying. I think that's the latest trend. I'm hoping that people start moving to other things. But hey, if it works for them, it's cool. But I have had a little bit of that in the past where, oh yeah, we want to put this in here because that's what everybody else is doing. To a degree, Yes, you need to have some things in there that people will recognize because, most people aren't going to do a deep dive in ingredients like you and I or care about things like, oh, how much caffeine's in here? Or even if I call it like caffeine by its chemical name, people are like, oh, there's no caffeine. Well, yes, it's just listed funnily.
Yeah, or
But,
just since you mentioned GAT earlier, that's the shit they always pulled on their labels. They would put 1,37 trimethylhexanamine and all the other shit and all of that stuff. That
there's a
always
couple
seemed
other
a
brands.
little kind of sketchy when they were doing that. I mean, I understand why they would, but anyway, go ahead.
That's basically the long and short of it, man. And the other part too, one of the scariest things, and quite frankly, I'm very fortunate at Dragon because we're a newer brand, and what was made before was very solid. Like the ATP Force formula as we have, I love that formula. It's great. I wouldn't change it. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Even like the Venom, the Veins, like they weren't bad. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't have to do complete rebranding. We're young enough where people are just starting to see the brand. Now's a chance to come in the brand is new and make it really fucking cool. And I think that's what we're doing. You've seen the Fear, you've seen the Venom, you've seen the Veins. The stuff I'm dropping, like starting like next month, we have an RX series. I'm gonna leak that here. Bro, it is insane. I hope I'm gonna punch Revive in the dick is the goal. Because the thing is, I've had that vision of doing a brand like that since 2016 when I was doing as a consultant with one of the brands. It came up, and I'm like, oh, this is actually a really cool idea. Same thing came up at ProSups, and it just never happened, because current marketing goals, things like that, or oh well, hold on, we'll look at this longer, and then of course somebody else went and did it. To Chris's, once again, I brought up Chris again here on Inspired. Like he came out with that whey protein, his Inspired Whey. It's a great product. You know what would be badass? Let's make a protein with a pre-probiotics in it. Motherfucker, he went ahead and did it. Like, come on, man, the collagen peptides. Like, that's a great idea. So if you don't do it, you think of it, you need to do it because someone else is going to do it first. And props, speed to market, he made a good product. So that being said, I think that's the big part of it is we have the creative flux here to make cool things, set the kind of the pace, the precedent, and make expand upon it. And that's what I want to continue to do.
Well said. So. If you're okay, I'd like to drill down in some of your ingredient selections for Venom pre-workout, just to kind of get what's going on in your mind.
Okay.
Beta-alanine, do you include that? I mean, it is a proven performance ergogenic. Does that play into, is including it because you personally like it? Is that one of those ingredients that consumers almost need to see to validate a pre-workout, or could also a part of it be for the sensory experience of the tingles and giving it the illusion to the mind that it may make the pre-workout hit a little bit harder?
Out of those three things, the first two I'm all for. One, I like it in pre-workout. Two, I feel that it's a great ingredient to include, especially for that. Notice I didn't put it in Mr. Veins.
Yeah.
Because I'll cover another part too and bookmark that. Make sure I don't forget that. In terms of sensory, cool. People feel it great. Some people actually really don't like the tingle. So honestly, that's why, it's not a big thing. For that reason, it doesn't have to specifically be taken as a pre-workout. It's an ingredient that builds up, accumulates over time.
Sure.
For whatever reason, it just seems to be convenient taking a pre-workout. Honestly, a big part too that I look at as a large brand scope. Like, for example, you don't have to take for example, like some people will bitch and moan. They see, oh, this only has 2 grams of beta-alanine in it. Isn't that 3.2? It's not good. It's underdosed. It's garbage. It's not clinical. I'm like, same creatine. You don't have to take it all at once. The key is if you're getting your full dose, and over time, your body will saturate. Just optimally, 3.2, that's where it needs to be.
Right.
So, quite frankly, it doesn't have to be in a pre. I put it in the Venom because it fits. It's a good ingredient for this specific product. I like it in here. The idea here is intense energy, training performance, and we have nitrogen for pumps. And I think it covers one of those bases of what we wanted the product to do. Mm-hmm. The tables, for whatever reason, people have actually known, like, holy crap, I'm a beta-alanine veteran, but the Venom hits me very hard in the tingles. I'm like, well, you have that hard-hitting vasodilation from the nitrogen. Nitrogen, and another benefit to that, it makes everything else in the product work better. Increased nutrient delivery throughout the body and circulation for longer periods of time, you're going to feel everything better. That's another added benefit, more bang for the buck. But in terms of, people seeing in a pre, yeah, it's in there because of that. But I also it has great data. Beta-alanine is one of those things. It's a gold standard. It's a great ingredient for a pre-workout. I don't have it in other things in my line. Like, for example, if it was in the ATP Force, okay, hey, this is designed to be stacked together. That's why I didn't put creatine in the Venom. We have a great creatine product. Like, okay, you don't need to overdose because many people are going to want to take both. That's why I didn't put Elevate ATP in there. I have that in my ATP Force.
Correct.
I like my line to work in synergy. One is, it's designed, if you want it, you can stack it without having overlap and overkill. Yeah. But two, like, it's from a sales point, it encourages people to, kind of create what they want to do stack-wise. Mm-hmm. And also, too, because versatility. Like, for whatever reason, even though, ladies, I'm sorry, a lot of women don't like creatine in their pre-workout. it gives people that option, So even then, I've had people say, "Oh, I don't like the burning from the venom because I have Caliburn GP, the grains of paradise." They're not going to make everybody happy, but as a large, long-term picture, I kind of look at, okay, what I will put in here, and this was actually a thing I think worked out very well for the RX series. I don't have a lot of overlap. So if you stack them, you get the added benefit, but you're not like taking extra stuff that you could have done without, and like it's not going to be hurting, but you're not getting extra benefit from it. There's a point of diminishing returns. So I feel that that's a great reason that also I didn't put beta alanine into Mr. Vanes, because people love stacking the two. I'm like, okay, if you want to take it by itself, you can. If you want to take each one individually, you're going to have an amazing workout. I love Mr. Vanes. The feedback has been awesome. It's one of my personal favorites. You get hard-hitting natural nootropics, intense pumps, and you feel focused and locked in. The downside of that one, a lot of times people hear stim-free, oh, I'm not going to feel it. Because that is one I'm going to take out. There are so many stim-free pre's out there that just focus on a pump, and they're lazy, and they put in, I got choline bitartrate and like 2 other things. I'm like, same shit. Why
bugs me.
They're copying and pasting the stim-free pre. Do something different. Put real nootropics in there, guys. And that's why when I saw this Mr. Vanes, I was like, I kind of sat down, I wrote it out on paper, put it in Excel. Then what I'll do, here's my method. I'll start with Excel first. I will my ingredient pricing, dosing, so on and so forth. Okay, here's what I think. Okay, I'll highlight cells, pump, energy, focus. I kind of like categorize it. Then what I'll do next, if I'm kind of happy where it's at, I'll go and I'll build it on the supplement facts panel. How do I want to present this? Because then sometimes I'm like, okay, this tells a great story. Or then sometimes like, you know what, I'm really heavy here. Okay, but like, where do I put this? I'm kind of light in this category. It kind of makes a balanced product. So that's another method where like, it's different seeing an Excel sheet where I can show somebody like, oh, here's this. Like, oh, I like this. Versus somebody that may not be as well versed, they see it on a supplement facts panel, like boom. For example, like I got pretty creative with the naming here, like the hostile performance matrix, beta alanine chlorobene GP, the malevolent NO pump and nutrient delivery, combination of atrocion S7, volatile energy and focus, tyrosine, caffeine, dynamine, theanine, UHIMBI, huperzine. So you can kind of see in these blocks, where are you strong, where are you light, and that's kind of how I went about that. So that's another like kind of methodology behind it, and also like, okay, beta alanine, where's it fit?
Gotcha. The caloric burn, is that, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of exercise data on the 6-paradol or what benefits have. Is that more of like almost like a sensory ingredient there? Because I know a lot of people like to have that warming, that thermic effect, or that sensation when they're going into a workout. Granted, they're about to be sweating their ass off anyway once they get in there, but do you think that helps kind of prime the pump and amplify their intensity and motivation to want to get in there and train? Is that the purpose behind it?
I just quite frankly thought it was a cool ingredient for a different angle on a pre-workout. And now how I market this is like, oh, well, some people absolutely hate it. Like, oh, I don't want to be, I'm not looking for fat burning pre. So I don't market it as that. If I was making, like Venom shredded, it makes sense. In the general pre, I personally really like the ingredient. One, the effect you get from it, and two, like I market it as it enhances workout efficiency. It's going to help improve body composition over the long term, help enhance calorie burning. A lot of people they want to have a quote unquote more efficient workout. You're going to have better pumps, better endurance, better calorie burning. It overall makes a more complete, balanced picture. It's something different. It's a different angle. So that's the main reason I did it. I'm not so much worried about, oh, it burns or, oh, it makes me sweat. It has cool data that it helps improve body composition. So if you have a pre-workout that helps enhance, your training endurance, your power output, your body composition over the long term, that's a cool story to tell. That's why I did it. Quite frankly, it's a cool story, and I have the data to justify it. That's why. Simple as that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
With the things, and we mentioned you don't want too much overlap in between the things. One of my biggest pet peeves when I look at companies and the way they formulate things, it's like they will have their stim-free pre-workout and their stim pre-workout, and it looks like they're almost identical, minus like it's just missing the caffeine and the yohimbi. And I'm thinking, well, what if I want to stack the two of them together? There's no complementary or synergistic actions between the two of them. And so that's why I like the more targeted approach, kind of like you've taken with Dragon Pharma, that you can stack both or you make them both effective on their own, but there's no overlap between the two.
Yep. I've noticed that too. A few that I've actually specifically seen that, I'm like, it's the same thing without the caffeine. Like, that's so lazy.
Yeah.
But in general, I've seen that happen, but that was kind of the goal. It's like, I want to be able to stack these two. There's some things where, like, if you're taking a big scoop of venom and a big scoop of veins, you're going to have 3 grams of nitrosogene. Necessary? No. Badass pumps? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're not going to, overdose.
Right. And my issue the thing that I gripe is when you end up getting like 6 or 8 grams of beta alanine in there, and then because everybody and their grandma puts huperzine in every fucking supplement these days, you end up with like 400 micrograms of huperzine when you've stacked the stim-free, a nootropic later in the day, and a stim-free pump. And I'm just thinking, where's the thought process? What contract manufacturer is actually doing the formulation for this brand? It reeks of laziness.
That's why I didn't put beta alanine in the Mr. Vanes, quite frankly,
Yeah.
because I want people to stack them. And the thing is, like, you generally can take each one by itself, have a great workout, but if you don't want the beta alanine, hey, cool. Now, some people, I've had a couple of, I wish there was beta alanine Vanes, but the overall majority is, hey, I'm stacking these anyway. I'm glad because it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 grams, man, you'd be like,
yeah, you'd be feeling some really strong tingles there. Let's pivot and dive into NeuroMorph. I love nootropics, just the concept of them, their purpose, their utility, their versatility. Let's dive into this one. This is more of one of the more recent releases that y'all have done, and Justin and I covered it a couple weeks back. So let's walk us through how your approach to this, because a lot of people, when they formulate nootropics, they go really heavy on the acetylcholine pathway, and they don't really address a lot of the other avenues. What's your take on it, Drew?
it's the same thing. When I see a lot of nootropics stim-free, it's like shit ton of choline and huperzine are like the 2 main ones. I'm like, you know what? Lazy. That's boring. So the thing is, too, I want to make a product overall, and this is what we did with the NeuroMorph here. I have this little pyramid of all this product at my desk, so I have everything really handy here. It's like, okay, what can I do? Like, what ingredients do I really like for nootropics? What's recognizable, but also what kind of cool story can we tell in terms of what we're making here? So one of the biggest angles we went here is like, all right, the idea here isn't for be a pre-workout. It's going to be different from our space, and a lot of people are, oh, so we've got before training? I'm like, absolutely. The thing is, it's more concentrated on overall focus, cognition, and overall stress mitigation, and plus a few little Easter eggs in here, which I'll cover in a second, which people have loved. Of course, you got tyrosine. Again, that's kind of one where I put in here. It's relatively expensive. It's a great ingredient just for helping enhance overall the formula in terms of nootropic. The star here, the 2 ingredients, quite frankly, that I absolutely just love and I love using, and it's kind of, you can kind of see when I formulate things, I kind of tend to, yep, Drew definitely made this. I'm a big fan of NooGhanda. I'm a huge ashwagandha fan.
Yeah.
A product I tend to honestly, I hate making the same thing twice, but you tend to you have your go thing. When I released Dr. Jekyll Stim Free and ProSups early 2019, the idea there was make a true stim-free nootropic pre-workout. I wish I could have put a little more in there, but the price was already pretty pricey as an expensive product. But now having the green light to go a little higher, I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about the performance. Let's focus more on nootropics. I like bang for the buck. In that case, at the time, we had Sensoril. It's a great ashwagandha. Out of all of them, my least favorite, I never use it, is KSM 66.
Weird.
Not a knock. Just to me, it's just like, okay, here's the thing. Like, what's the difference between KSM, Sensoril, Shoden, and last, of course, NooGhanda? There's a lot of the ashwagandha scenes exploded. KSM 66, it kind of depends, and I'll cover this here in terms of branded ingredients. KSM 66 has 5% with analyte content. 600 milligrams typically for testosterone boosting, stress mitigation. The thing is, when you use certain ingredients, like if you say, oh, why did they use KSM 66 over, say, Sensoril, which is 10% twice with analyte content, 300 milligrams. The key in that case, you're paying for the claim substantiation. The data has been done on that specific version of ashwagandha at the 5% at the 600. In theory, you could use 300 milligrams of Sensoril since it's twice with analyte content for the same effect, but they don't have a study published to back that up. So therefore, if you want that pathway to make that claim, that's why you have to do it. And quite frankly, that's honestly what happens. When I see a formula, oh, they did this reason here because they wanted to make that claim. Same thing, you have to be really careful with beta alanine claims because all of the data and certain things is owned by Carnitine, and I absolutely refuse to pay that much of beta alanine. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They think that shit is gold. So in other words, anyway, the point being, back to NeuroMorph, sorry here, is that when I dove into this, I absolutely love ashwagandha. So with this one, NooGhanda, having the data that helps enhance cognitive focus, I'm like, ooh, that's a badass ingredient here. I kind of want to make an all-natural, high-potency, natural nootropic. So that made a lot of sense. Plus, we're getting the added benefit of stress mitigation. Ashwagandha is an amazing thing for helping reduce cortisol, stress mitigation, plus having the cognitive focus here. I love that ingredient a lot. There's a lot of bang for the buck. So when I put ingredients together, I look at, okay, how much does it cost versus what am I going to get from this? What benefits am I going to get? How can I tell a story? With that one, it tells a lot. Another extract here that I absolutely love is Pina Colada. I actually first used that. I was one of the first to kind of launch that on the scene about a year ago in the Dr. Jekyll Stim Free. There's a branded version called an extra.
Yep.
If you want to make those claims, sure. I just use generic because it does the same thing. And with that one, it's really cool because it has the ability at 200 milligrams to extend the efficacy of caffeine even longer, prevent the crash through different mechanisms. But it has data by itself for enhancing cognitive focus and mental concentration. I'm like, dude, that's a no-brainer. I love the effect from it. Even then, that was one of the stars in the Jekyll. Like, okay, that's a great ingredient. I love that. It would pair beautifully. Moving down the list here, of course, lion's mane, neuroprotective. It's a very recognized nootropic. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'm a big fan of that. Let's put that in here. There are cool angles. Like, okay, let's do something different here. We had everything else in here kind of natural. So you know what? Let's keep that. Let's use a natural version of caffeine. Therefore, we use Nova tea, fermented caffeine from green tea leaves. It's a cool story. We can make claim as an all-natural type nootropic product. Nice, smooth energy. The point isn't to crack you out. Like, here's the thing. It focuses in this. I saw a couple other, I'm not going to call them out, but they made a nootropic product. It has like 400 or 500 milligrams of caffeine. I'm like, bro, it's just a caffeine bomb with some other shit thrown in.
Yeah.
The point of this should make you feel good, focused, and concentrated and smooth energy, not to make you cracked out. So the cool part about this product is people see like how much is in it. Like a small scoop of this is 2.8 grams, and everything in here is clinical dose, which is badass. If you want to take the double scoop of this, you can. You're getting twice as much, and quite frankly, you don't need to take the massive scoop here to feel the effect, which is what I love. But that was kind of the story we're telling here. Inositol, nice addition, helping, of course, for the brain effects of it. Antioxidants from Spectra, once again on a natural pathway, so you're getting the benefits of cognition, mental focus. You have antioxidants for cellular health and protection. And the other part too, you know what? If you're drinking an energy drink, that's how I market it. You have energy drink, coffee. There's providing caffeine. At the end of the day, that's all you're getting. You're getting a quick burst of caffeine. Energy technology has evolved, so why isn't the way you approach energy? How about you have something that gives it energy, but also tells, it helps with stress mitigation, overall vitality, adaptogens, neuroprotection. And in the age of digital age here, you have computer screens, phones, video games, all these things. Why not do something that can protect your eyes for long-term health here? And that's what include the Optilute. Well, they changed the name of it here. It used to be Optilute, now it's called Xanax. Yeah. It's for blue light protection, So if so much technology these days, if you have something to tell with all technology, you're protecting your eyes long term. I thought that was a cool angle as well to address, and that kind of how it all folded together and NeuroMorph. So
cool. I want to rewind a little bit. What obviously you've experimented a good bit with the various ashwagandha forms. What I guess discernible differences have you noticed when you're dosing them, at their clinical recommended dosages? So for me, I find I actually respond pretty well to KSM-66. I don't like it when it's put in a pre-workout. I see it put in pre-workouts every now and then, either in 300 or 600 milligrams. I don't want any kind of a calming agent like that in my pre-workout. I like it. I've used it in a nootropic, and I'm fine with it there. I respond to it better in that capacity. At night, it's fantastic. Sensoril, it almost makes me too flat. KSM, I can still feel like I'm with it, but Sensoril, man, just bottoms me out to where I don't feel like doing anything. I haven't messed much with, I have done a little bit with Shoden. I haven't tried NooGhanda yet. Shoden I've tried in another company's relaxation product, and that zonks you. I sleep like a fucking rock when I take it. But what is some of your experiences on it?
I haven't done a whole lot of the KM66 just because it's kind of like when I started using a lot of ashwagandha, there are other options available. At the time, using KSM, Sensoril, generic, so on and so forth. Shoden, I do like at the lower dose for whatever reason. It does tend to have just a nice zen effect. NooGhanda is my favorite in terms of it is one you take, you just feel good, man. If you're relaxed but focused. And that's the other part too. Like a lot of times when I people like, why would you put theanine in pre-workout? I know this drives Justin crazy. That supplements do.
Yeah, me too.
Well, the thing is, it's in my the venom. But the reason I did that, or the reason that I think that Sensoril or ashwagandha in general works well on a pre-workout, is because when you're pairing it with things like NooGhanda is the exception. It helps with cognitive focus. Like say something for the relaxation effect, like even teacrine, people think it's a stimulant, but when it's 50 milligrams or less, it has a sedative effect. It's relaxation.
Correct.
It's counteracting and pairing beautifully with the stimulatory ingredients. Because the thing is, too, you're going to have that sharp energy peak and that energy spike with caffeine. Things like theanine, teacrine, ashwagandhas, they have a complementary effect where they're going to prevent you from hitting that so-called ceiling in terms of having anxiety, jitters, so on and so forth. It's all going to prevent the crash. It helps you feel good. The caffeine addresses the amplification of the energy, the hard-hitting effects, and things like those are things like the theanine help kind of level that out, help you from hitting that ceiling and make for a nice sustained release. That's why you don't want to go too much. It's kind of that sweet spot between the two. That's why caffeine, dynamine, teacrine pair beautifully together because they keep the energy curve consistent. And that's the same thing when it comes to the energy effect with like the ashwagandhas. It pairs beautifully with stimulatory ingredients. Would I put like say a more relaxing or quote unquote sensory effect ashwagandha in a stim-free pre along with other things without some sort of stimulation? Probably not. Like if Mr. Vane's, if NooGhanda wasn't available, I probably wouldn't have done ashwagandha in that. Although I did do Sensoril in the Dr. Jekyll, but then there was enough other things like Alpinia that kind of balance that out. And the benefit I look at there too, hey, we're looking at long-term adaptation and stress mitigation through reducing cortisol. So, okay, I think in that case, it's a good justifiable ingredient. You get the benefit from it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my quick overview.
Perfect. One thing that I've always been curious about, and you mentioned cortisol and using it in the exercise setting. So in an acute stressful bout, cortisol can actually help, with energy metabolism and fuel come. So, it'll help your body recruit energy to be burned to help, back, in prehistoric times else to get the fuck away from a lion that was chasing us out in the middle of the, yeah. So I wonder with taking some of these cortisol mitigating compounds in the workout, is it actually impairing any of some of that metabolism, that energy metabolism and our ability to efficiently recruit fuel stores or not? And I don't know enough about human physiology or the implications for what taking a cortisol regulating ingredient could, but what are your thoughts on that?
Once again, it all depends on the study, depends on, here's the thing, it's like real world data as well, because on paper, so I'm like, oh, in theory, that's smart, like there, like with, I wouldn't recommend taking something that absolutely crushes your cortisol, because people, they want to have yes or no, black or white. Same with estrogen. You need estrogen for healthy hormone levels, for sex drive, joint health, so on and so forth. But guys who are estrogen, like, oh my God, I want to get rid of it. I want to be a woman. They want to crush it. Right. Same thing with cortisol. It all comes down to balance homeostasis. If it's something like where he has the data to kind of level it out and manage healthy levels and mitigate it, that could be good. That's why I think ashwagandha does a good job of balancing it. Something that's a more intense cortisol mitigating agent, something like a Modin, like you see in Chemix has it in their product. I may have a similar ingredient in my upcoming RX stress product along with ashwagandha. And that purpose, you're not taking it for your workout. In that case, it can be counterproductive because just like you said, norepinephrine, epinephrine, the fight or flight hormones, the flight or flight response to cortisol, you want to tap into that. It helps with energy, metabolism, so on and so forth. That's absolutely right. The question I have, and of course, this isn't asking you, but in general, you need to examine, like, okay, same thing with like, say, oh, I have to have whey protein hydrolysis after my workout because it's the fastest digesting protein possible. On paper, you're going to get faster results. You're going to have the optimal recovery. Right. But in the real world, how much actual difference are you going to notice from having that effect versus the long-term, say, eating this regular whey protein concentrate as a shake, or even I just normally post-training do chicken breast?
Yeah, a whole foods meal. Yeah, exactly.
Right? What is the actual data going to say for how much difference it makes? If it's like this exorbitant amount in terms of the impact it has from lowering the cortisol, I'd be open to that. But the thing is, just in data, no one really knows. I don't recommend just absolutely crushing your cortisol pre-training. I wouldn't recommend that because, that can be counterproductive. But I think in terms of this one, just helping manage it into a normal level is beneficial. So it all depends who you ask. All depends what this does you're looking at. And no, it's a freaking great question, man. It is like how much is too much because you want to have a sweet spot. Just like, how much stimulatory energy is that you need from caffeine. There's a point of diminishing returns. A little bit of lowering is great so you're not stressed to the roof and having like, if you're like 5 weeks out from a bodybuilding contest and your cortisol's through the roof, you're probably going to benefit a lot more from taking a pre-workout that has that versus if you're an average Joe, you have some stress in your life, you have hardly cortisol, but crushing that level, it isn't as necessary,
Absolutely. Let's go to Mr. Vane's again. With that, you have Hydromax in there as your glycerol form, your cell-saturating ingredient. We'll call it that. Any reason for going Hydromax versus Glycericize or Glycerpump, whatever they're calling it now, Glycerswole? Is there a reason for it or not, or did you just have experience with one that you felt more comfortable with?
I just use Hydromax as my go-to one, quite frankly, because they're all a pain in the ass. If you do not, here's the thing, that I only trust one place to make Mr. Bain's or glycerol-containing products because they are a nightmare. They're very hygroscopic. They do tend to clump. Even if you do all the things in the world, they still may have a little bit of issues over time. There's different things you can do in their blending processes. There's different things in terms of the amount of silica, cypernat, so on and so forth you can add to the blending process to make that stay smooth. And their key part too is the blending sequence and also ensuring even with the auger systems that the heat is consistent. Because that's the downside. A lot of times if you just, anybody can throw shit in a blender, blend it, auger it, package it. But once again, it's little things you never think of. Even if the temperature gets a little higher, that can start to cause the hygroscopicity. Things start to clump a lot faster. That's why some places they'll get their product brand new, Hydromax is a brick, versus, I get my Mr. Bain's and it's nice free flowing. We have had a little bit of clumping, but it's to be expected. And of course, it's optically people are like, oh, the product's clumping is bad. I'm like, no, it's just the ingredient. So that is a battle in itself. And sometimes, honestly, I look at it and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm just going to take Citron. I'm going to take the Hydromax out. For me, I don't mind. I understand why it's there. It works great. And some people see clumpiness and it's a PR nightmare. So, hey, man, what battle do you want to fight?
Right. And I'd heard
that one, I just use Hydromax. I like Hydromax.
Yeah. I had heard that I think they were supposed to be coming out with a new form of it or something this year. It was supposed to be even more stable than Say it again?
It's Hydromax 2.0. It's already out, and from what I've seen already, they're still having issues with it. It's just increasing the silica load on it, basically. I mean, there's more to it than that, and of course, Glendia wouldn't be happy if I'm like, it's just more silica. There's more to it than that, but okay.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's any... All right, so nitrosogene is arginine, silicate, and inositol. I wonder if by pairing it to, you're increasing the overall silicate in there and helping it prevent any clumping. Do you think that theoretically could be possible, or is that probably not doing anything at all?
Honestly, I have 1.5 grams of nitrogen in there on top of added silica through just the blending, and it still has problems. It's just the ingredient's just a bitch to work with, man.
Yeah.
Another nightmare one for those following along at home, citrulline can be very hygroscopic. Carnitine is horrible. If you have a carnitine-based product and then you're like, oh, let's make a carnitine TLA product. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. It's going to be a brick. So stuff just tends to clump, man. It's nothing that's wrong with the product. It's nothing the manufacturer did. It's just that ingredient is very difficult.
Yeah, betaine is another one that is super clumpy and loves to absorb a shit ton of water and make everything nasty. Let's turn to the newest one that you and I were talking to before we actually officially started recording, Dry Up, the new premium high-potency diuretic you guys released. So let's go through. You're obviously a competitive bodybuilder. You've used diuretics in your history, getting ready for competitions and everything. So walk us through your thought process for this and what problems do you see with some of the current diuretics on the market? The natural ones. We're not going to deal with prescription ones that cause people to go to the hospital.
Well, that's actually a pretty cool note on that. I'll touch that in a second. And it's funny, it's not actually our newest product. This is actually the first thing that I made for Dragon Pharma. It's the first thing we released here. We just happened to, when we redid the kind of the packaging for the Venom, Vein, Sphere, I'm like, you know what, let's do the same thing to make our bottles fall in line. Mm-hmm. I went back, and then the second production run moving forward, we're switching over all of our capsule products to these nice cylinder, beautiful bottles. The labels are going to have the consistency. It makes brand uniformity for moving forward for a nice uniform line. Right. So it's the same awesome formula for those that try. Like, that's the worst thing. I guarantee you I'm going to have somebody complain, the new Dry Up doesn't work as well as the old one, even though it's the same formula. People are. Yeah. But with that being said, the idea here was, okay, I want to make something that's efficacious, and I look at the ingredients here. The cool part about Dry Up, everything's full transparency. These are all my products here. Dandelion root, horsetail, ursi, juniper berry. The cool data about this is some of these ingredients at these doses have comparable data in terms of efficacy compared to prescription diuretics. So it's kind of funny you mentioned the prescription things where it may not be a drug, which is really cool, and there's another ingredient that's very similar to that. I'll cover that in a second. But where these are dosed at as comparable data, full clinical, to a prescription diuretic, so it has the same effect. Mm-hmm. We also kind of had the mindset here, like, you know what? Another issue with diuretics is when it comes to that, a lot of people get electrolyte imbalances if you're not having water and a nutrient intake properly. Anyway, they get cramping, so we have things in here to help with that, the electrolyte assist. And the added benefit, it's kind of a cool angle, was the caloribrin GP, for once again, it's kind of helping overall metabolism. Do you have to have it in there? Absolutely not. But then again, it helps with workout efficiency. And the other paired with the GBB, which is a gamma-bacterial-betaine, a carnitine precursor. It's
going to light you up.
Yeah.
You sweat your ass off.
If you want to lose water, and just honestly, I like taking this just before training or cardio. If I just want to have an awesome, badass cardio sweat session and also shed some excess water, You can use it as a diuretic for like preventing for like a photo shoot or just look good for the barbecue on the weekend. But in general, if you want to take a serving a day, like 4 capsules just before your morning cardio, just because you love the feeling of sweat, GBB will light you up. So the idea of that was to have, we're getting added benefits from the calorie burning, the white adipose to brown adipose conversion to the calorie burning GP, the GBB for the enhanced sweat factor calorie burning, paired to prescription diuretics. It's made to help you drop a lot of water very quickly for that water weight to reveal it. So that's kind of the mentality here. That'll get you freaking dry. It's pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of it, and I have great feedback on it.
Yeah. So, with your history as a bodybuilder, give us some insight. What into the actual supplement usage of other competitors and yourself? Do you find that at the upper levels and the competitive levels of bodybuilding, supplement usage is very heavily it's emphasized or utilized? Or is it more of like the weekend warriors, the amateur people that just like to crush it in the gym? They tend to rely more on supplements, and we'll avoid the topic of the quote unquote special sports supplements. That's a whole separate topic entirely. But natural dietary supplements, do you find them used a lot on the competitive scene?
Well, it's kind of funny because it kind of shifts. I mean, back in the day when I was in college, I was just an athlete and I was like lifting, training, so on and so forth. I wasn't specifically a bodybuilder. I remember that I was taking, USP Labs Prime, Jacked. I was taking a joint supplement. I was taking Antivite from Gaspar for the beta-alanine. And of course, I have to have my multi. Then, of course, I have to have my protein, my casein before bed, a specialized protein. Like, you have this massive fucking stack. Yeah. And it's funny because I'll kind of imply this. You move kind of down the road. You have these kids that dive in headfirst, all these supplements. Like, you go there, fuck, testosterone booster, like that. I'll cover all your bases. And it's kind of funny because as you get older, you're training and you kind of realize, man, just take time. I'm going to focus on diet. And as a competitive bodybuilder, people ask, oh, man, what all supplements you take? I'm like, well, quite frankly, I like a pre-workout and protein and aminos during training. Keep it pretty simple. It's funny because I can always tell some of the veteran bodybuilders is kind of our response because it is honestly a large part in diet, but there's also another kind of supplementation that we use instead. So it's kind of like that middle answer there. I mean, the part that I do notice, and personally myself, I'm a big fan. I love this RX series. I'm probably more excited for this than pre-workouts, the RX thing. Is because you have to take care of your body long term, not just as, because of performance enhancement or bodybuilding type substances, but just taking care of your body long term. So the cool part about this, I'm excited for this RX and myself, is because it's things, one, when you're competitive, you're taking a toll on your body through joints, liver care, cardiovascular system, lipids, all these type of things. You need to address those as you age anyway. But two, like a lot of the guys, like myself, competitive-wise, you got to take these things precaution-wise, especially if you're in heavy competing, to make sure your body stays healthy. So with that being said, I do tend to notice in the bodybuilding thing, to answer your question, it's more so things in the space of liver health, cardiovascular health, joint health, just long-term care paired with sports nutrition-wise, more specifically like protein, of course, creatine for some guys, pre-workouts because you want to have the energy, especially in a prep. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of aminos. But that kind of gets more specific in terms of specialized areas compared to the person looking for test boosters and all these type of things. Gotcha. So the reason I'm excited about the RX thing, I know I'm kind of jumping the gun, is that it's stuff that I get excited for shit that I get to make because I'm personally a huge fan and I can't wait to use it myself. Yeah. Same with the greens product I'm working on. I have a couple really cool proteins I'm working on, different spins. I'm personally very excited about a fiber product I'm working on. And the thing is, I'm really excited because one is yes, I love making cool stuff for the hardcore people, but then also I'm genuinely, it's oh wow, you're such a, what's the word for it, humanitarian. I'm excited for this because it's gonna get other people that aren't aware of our brand involved in our brand. For example, my dad's 62, 63 this year, right? I'm making cool shit that I can Dad, I made some that you can use, man. I got this awesome cardiovascular support supplement. I have things amazing for joints, and I have an amazing thing for digestion. And it's stuff that anybody and everybody can use in their daily life to help improve their long-term health. And it's something that also as a competitive athlete, you're going to take it because it's going to help you maintain your long-term health. I don't want to give away my whole marketing spin, but before you're an athlete, a competitor, a bodybuilder, you're a human. If you don't address these things, you're not going to function optimally. It's more than just the protein of the gym. It's more than just the pre-workout. It's ensuring all the systems of your body are functioning optimally. And as a science guy as well as an athlete and someone makes cool shit, I'm excited about this because the story I get to tell, the benefits you get from it, and it's really cool because it's this is badass science. I get to tell a cool story. Plus, I get to make cool product and be part of this. You know, it kind of ties all together, man. Like versus like, I made a badass cardio support for life extension. Great.
My next question was gonna be, how do we make these general health and wellness supplements more sexy? How do we dress them up? But you kind of already nailed that, so I don't even need to go into that
You
because
haven't
that would
seen my packaging. That's how.
yeah. And, well, plus you just even kind of termed it. You said you're an athlete, you're a competitor, but you also at a very basic level, we're all a human being. So we were trying to improve just your quality of life at the base. So I don't want you to give away your whole marketing thing like you were saying, but I mean you kind of crushed my next question without even even trying. What I do want to ask is, okay, so your parents are in their 60s. My dad is. My mom will be turning 60 next year. So my question is, you're in the supplement industry. How do your parents feel about taking dietary supplements? Do you have a hard time convincing them to try to use something that you formulate? Because I've formulated a few things, tried to give it to my parents. I've recommended certain things as far as like general health stuff, and it just kind of goes over because I'm just the supplement guru that used to be an engineer. They're trained doctors and nurses and all of that stuff. So it's, how do you walk that path?
Well, it's kind of funny because I've initially I was a strength and conditioning coach. I was a head strength coach for 3 teams as a grad assistant at the University of Nebraska Omaha. I was always a personal trainer. I've always been into fitness. I grew up as a farming family. My dad to this day still farms. I worked on the farm up until my senior year of college. In the summer, I'd go home and help my dad.
Yeah.
And so I kind of branched off. I did my own thing. So even back home, I quite honestly, if my parents were to be asked what I do for a living, I don't know if they could actually answer that.
Yeah.
Directly. It's like, oh, he does something with like protein and stuff, and it's hard to explain. Oh, like if I ask them, even now, if somebody asks me, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm director of scientific affairs for Dragon Pharma. What does that mean? Oh, I create products, I formulate, I'm a flavor chemist, I make cool things. Oh, okay. But in terms of that, like, quite frankly, a lot of stuff I've made, I haven't like given my parents because I don't really need my dad taking a scoop of Mr. Hyde or
Yeah.
taking a scoop of Venom. It is not his style. But I think in general, they do ask me questions. I did notice growing up, even recently, my dad will go to Walmart. He'll get like, oh, I need a joint support. And I heard this vitamin C is good for my immune system and garlic's good for my cholesterol. But now I'm kind of pumped because I'm going to send him a care package. My dude, I made this just in general, but I think this is something I definitely want you to take because it's something that you can use, man. It's long-term health, and I think it'd be really cool to be able to and that's the cool shit, man. I'm like, side note here. One, I'm proud of that because I have something that everybody can use. And two, like, dude, you know how, maybe you do, like, I'm still mind blown to this day. I've been doing this for a long time. I remember the first time this happened, I walk into not so much Dragon because not in a lot of stores like that, and more like online and shit like that. Like at Pro Steps, I walk into a vitamin shop or a GNC or even over the years, brands I consulted for, and I walk in, I'm like, I made that fucking product. Like, it's really cool. Like, I made this. Like, I pick it up. I'm like, man, I remember designing this label, and people have no idea. It's like, a guy in GNC holding a protein or whatever. Like, they have no idea who you are or whatever.
Right.
I'm not as notorious, in the real world compared to sports nutrition, but it's like, dude, this is surreal. I'm holding this. I made this. This asshole at GNC doesn't even know it exists. This is kind of cool. So it's kind of that cool feeling that I made something. It got made. It's being sold in like nationwide stores. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, since we've already touched on it, it'll give us more insight into the RX line.
Okay. Basically, fuck it. I'm not going to reveal, like I said, ideal formulas, but I will say the one I'm most excited for is the digestion. Why? Probably because it's a very different angle, in my opinion, from what a lot of people have done. Yes, it has probiotics in it, but it also features 3 key ingredients. So I'll go with this. One of them is a probiotic that has specific data in athletes for enhancing lean muscle mass and reducing body fat, enhancing performance, which is really cool. It has a really cool prebiotic in there at a very badass dosage that has over 11 clinical studies for enhancing efficacy, safety, and also encouraging the proper gut flora balance. As an ingredient, very common, which I like, okay, that makes sense. First, improving overall intestinal and digestive health, as well as nutrient absorption. You can probably guess in terms of what that one is. Probiotics is loaded, like a nice diverse blend, fully transparent. It tells you exactly how many billion CFU of every single probiotic in there, full transparency. I'm very excited for this one because everything starts in the gut, your immune system, performance, digestion, nutrient utilization, plus having the data that it helps improve your body composition. To me, that's a really cool fucking product.
Yeah.
It's also going to be releasing at least the initial drop. I'll cover those. Digestion, We're covering a joints product. A few people have seen what I'm going to do there because like I've recommended this actual kind of stack over the years on Facebook. Okay, this. Hey, I got all one product now. Here you go, guys.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of these type of ingredients. Very full clinical dose. No glucosamine, no MSM, no shit that like your grandma's going to take. I'm not making products for your grandma like green tea. There's also going to be cardiovascular product, cardiovascular health, healthy management of blood pressure and overall circulatory health. One that I thought was a glaring space that a lot of people, I'm surprised, don't do, especially in our space, is a prostate health formula, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Once again, cardio is a good example of this. The cardio one and the prostate. There are some ingredients that are quote unquote common that you do need to see in those because they work. But then I also have a couple in there like, oh wow, that's cool. I didn't think of that. So I'm excited for that. We're also having a stress product. Immune product will be two other ones. I have I think you're going to love the stress one personally from what we've discussed in general. And then, of course, the immune one as well. I think it's a very solid bolstering immune product as well. I'm also eventually on the next run. I'm kind of dividing this up. There'll be a big drop and then a second release. Okay. I'm going to address kidney health, lipid health, and I may or may not, which I'm going to wink with this, have a very cool, specific series of female products, which I'm very excited about. I'm also going to address libido. But it's cool because it still ties into the brand, but it keeps it hard, edgy, but then at the same time, it's like stuff where I can expand our market. So honestly, I'm very excited about this from top to bottom. It's just some very cool things. We're very excited about it. And that's kind of a little bit of a brief preview for what we're going to be dropping. And I've already, within the female line, I got 3 of them are done. Priced and ready to go. And I'm also dropping a stin-free thermogenic within the regular Dragon line, which I'm pretty pumped about. And of course, there's some cool things that I've been wanting to address for years. I'm like, you know what? Nobody's done it yet, so I'm going to do it.
You got time now.
That's a quick little glimpse without giving away too much, I hope.
Excellent. A little while ago, you mentioned that you were going to be releasing probably a protein powder. Is that going to be replacing the current isoform that's Dragon Pharma has?
Absolutely not. We're going to keep the current one. Our isoform is a hydrolyzed whey protein isolate. It's awesome. It's a great product. This predates me being here. I am going to revamp the flavor systems. Holy shit, you need to try some of the flavors I made because I hate making the same flavor as everybody else. Sometimes, we have to have a chocolate, but then again, I'm not making a chocolate. I'm make a unique chocolate.
Yeah.
Same thing, vanilla. I think those flavor extensions there got room to play. We're releasing the next one will be a blend, a whey protein concentrate, whey isolate, simple to the point, but freaking gourmet, delicious, fully transparent label. And disclose the amount of protein, of course, from isolate concentrate. Keep it simple. I'm making a meal replacement that's going to punch our competitor right in the throat. Is the idea of that one is to be more of a whole food meal replacement that's not full of a bunch of bullshit beef protein and collagen. Hint, wink.
Wink.
And from whole food sources, I mean, a tri-blend of protein, tri-blend of carb source from whole food, badass fat complex to it, and maybe a little twist or two in terms of nutrient content, phytonutrients, and minerals. I'm excited about this.
Outstanding.
Also, a vegan protein. My idea is to have the best vegan protein in the market, both in flavor and also to have the first true hardcore sport-specific nutrition. Vegan protein was pretty cool. I actually made a very similar one at ProSups. It's never saw the light of day. We ended up pivoting, and I'm like, damn it. So I've already redone a new formula, and I'm working on the flavoring now. Even the greens and the fiber I'm making is going to be exciting. But that's kind of a hint for the proteins coming. So we got 3 very specific ones: a blend, MRE, and a vegan, and then, of course, meal replacement.
Very cool.
Meal replacement is MRE. No shit.
Yeah. Outstanding. You said you like to do unique flavors. This, I assume this extends beyond just proteins, but also to pre-workouts and all of that. And the nootropics as well, which reminds me, that nootropic flavor, you've got some interesting flavors going on in the NeuroMorph. And what I'm trying to figure out is, you've got a lot of like earthy botanicals in there, especially the ashwagandha and everything. So, how were you able to pull off a light flavor like pineapple or tea with that?
Well, bro, when it comes to anything, protein's one of the easier ones to flavor. But the first thing I do, secret flavoring wise here, is when I taste something, I taste the base of the product before I do anything, because I get an idea. What does this taste like? What does it remind me of? What would make sense? When for example, the NeuroMorph here. Okay, I got all the herbal things. Very, very. It's kind of like tangent notes, tannins, things like that. You know what? I think something with a little bit of like the off notes too, like a mango and a tea, like a mango black tea. Lo and behold, mango tea was born. Pineapple, with that one being said, like, you know what? I think if we have enough bitterness and the sweetness of the pineapple, I think that could pair well with it too. I played with it enough, got the acid, the sweetness levels correct. It worked. I wouldn't try to put a square peg in a round hole. I'm gonna make a cotton candy flavor NeuroMorph. That shit wouldn't work. So it's just kind of knowing ahead of kind of what the base tastes like, what
Yeah.
makes sense. Because when I flavor anything, I kind of go with, okay, what would the base allow me to do? Like for Carnitine, for example, you can get away with like a Pro Steps. I dropped some really unique flavors with like a Sour Patch watermelon flavor, a sweet and tart flavor. I made a peach ring candy. What was the other one we dropped? I don't know if they've actually released it. Like a dragon fruit candy, and it just made sense because all of them kind of have the acidic notes. Because inherently, carnitine is acidic. Citrus works really well. Anything like that, you're not going to be able to pull off something like a vanilla and carnitine's been done. It's disgusting. You're trying to make something sweet like that. You're not going to make like a chocolate in terms of a carnitine. It's going to taste disgusting. So that's the key. To kind of go with what makes sense in the base. Some things it's wide open. Aminos are pretty flexible.
Yep.
Except for the Dr. Fear. That one's a nightmare sometimes because I have 10 grams of aminos in Pico 2.
Yeah.
I got to roll my sleeves a little bit, but I think the feedback for those, like the apple juice, for me, I'm like, you know what? This has a lot of fermented notes. It has a lot of bitterness to it. You know what that reminds me of? Let's try an apple juice. Honeycrisp apple, and it'll feel their key little hints in the flavor profile, and it made sense. But it just kind of comes down to what does the base allow you to do.
Excellent. As a formulator, what are some of your biggest pet peeves that you see in the industry that other companies do or other formulators do? And we've touched on a few things, like just outright laziness, where you're just carbon copying somebody else's formula. And I'm not saying that in a saying of, oh, they ripped off my formula. You don't own shit, dude. You put some ingredients together in a formula in some way. But what are just some of the things that you see are lacking when companies release formulas, and what steps could make for better products in general?
I think in general, the even from my mindset, I try to take. Do I believe that I have some of the best products in the category? Yes, but also if you haven't noticed, I have no qualms about recommending other brands that they make a great product. I like their line. I like this product. If something cool, I'm like, I like this. I talk to James Bacuzzi. Sometimes he'll send me stuff. I'll look at, like, dude, this is cool. I love this. Or if Chris sends me something, I'm inspired. I'm like, dude, this is badass. I have no problem giving compliments. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Because the problem, I think this happens both strength and conditioning. And here's the thing. Both in formulating and strength and conditioning, this is a true fucking story. Sometimes it happened to supply side. I'm not going to tell you who I was talking to. It's a very big brand. It's kind of funny. Then they're really cool peeps, but they came up, and the first time I met him, like their formulator guy, he really isn't known, but they have a very well-known brand. He starts talking to me, and I'm like, dude, this is what I'm working on. I'm thinking this ingredient, this dosage, this cool synergy. And he's like, dude, that's awesome. And at the same time, the first time meeting me, he's like, why are you telling me all this? Like, dude, like, I'm kind of your competition. I'm like, well, here's the thing, man. Because at the end of the day, you're always going to be able to improve something. And cool, by the time you get on the plane, I'm already going to think of something new and better to replace it with. Because the thing is, the industry is always evolving. I'm always thinking of new things. And the thing is, too, if a collaborative group thing, to a degree, like, I'm not going to tell everybody what I'm making well ahead of making it because I don't want somebody to rip me off right out of the gate.
Right.
But, what makes the industry better is having formulators come together, discuss the ingredients, and of course, ultimately we need to be on the same page of educating the consumer and why we're doing this way because this is a better way versus everybody being lazy. Oh, we're all going to do the same thing because we want to play it safe. And so, quite frankly, that's why my biggest pet peeve is people they don't take risks. In terms of being creative, the copy and paste is kind of annoying. One of the most blatant fucking hack jobs I've ever seen in my life, and this is hilarious because I got into it with him. This dumb fuck. I mean, dude, you might as well have called your pre-workout levels instead of legend. Legend instead of levels. When I saw that lazy-ass rebrand from brand that ripped off Ghost, I mean, it's the most blatant, horrible rebranding I've ever seen. That one rubbed me the wrong way because I know the guy. I know his history. I know all about him. I even worked for him briefly for a while there, and I'm like, bro, I want nothing to do with it. And got away from it, but then he has the galls to say you haven't done anything innovative or meaningful in this industry in my eyes. I'm like, wow, that means a lot coming from you. So cool.
I remember seeing that thread explode. It was fucking hysterical, and I forgot about it until just now.
I poked him, and he tried to slap me, and I just knocked him the fuck out. I'm like, bro, you don't want to mess with me, but. Shit like that drives me crazy. It's like you're calling somebody. Here's my biggest issue. If you focus too much on not staying in your own fucking lane, and you're more worried, and I'm not gonna go there. Maybe 4 people I worked with. If you're so set and you're pissed off, oh, they're not doing it the right way. Well, why? Well, that was silly. They went there. Why are they doing this? That doesn't make any sense. because you're not succeeding, you're just jealous. That's fucking annoying, bro. If you're not clapping when other people win, you need to reevaluate what you're really doing. And this is some heart-to-heart shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see other brands do well. I mean, I want to beat you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to make better shit. I
Yeah.
want people to buy my brand over yours. At the end of the day, we're competing for the same consumer. But at the
Correct.
same time, I'm not going to be pissed because if you're doing things the right way and you generally make something really cool, dude, that's awesome. That helps our industry.
Yeah.
Versus if you're just worried about you being the best because you want to pound your chest and take all the fucking credit and be like, I'm the best. Like, bro, that's honestly, that's probably what I have the biggest problem with is people copying things blatantly or saying we're the best. I'm like, bro, you literally have done nothing original, or be like, where are you coming from? Like, nobody knows who you are. I think that's honestly my biggest issue, to be very blunt.
Gotcha. From time to time we've seen brands do special limited edition drops on flavors, and then in 3 more months we'll get some new flavors dropped out, and we'll do another limited edition. Do you like that? Do you think it's necessary in today's day and age when consumers' attention span is shorter than ever? How do you feel?
I love it. Holy shit, man. Dude, like I finally got to the place here where I've been on the same page and I got the green light to. I'm dropping a 4th of July exclusive flavor. I'm all about it, man. I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. I think it keeps the brand engaged. If you have a fan base, it gets people excited about things. You don't need to have like if you like, I'm dropping a new flavor like every week, that's not innovation if you're just keep dropping the same flavor, same products. But if you balance that, sprinkle in like a new flavor extension to keep like a product relevant and fresh, alternated with new products altogether. One is like, dude, I'll be honest, even aminos, I have 3 flavors. I want another, so I'm releasing another because you have to keep their thing fresh. People love the product, but they want a variety. Mm-hmm. Bang kind of overdoes it. I'm just saying, like, bro, you don't need a new you have like 25 flavors. I think you can chill, bro.
Right.
But in that case, I love that. I love seasonal things. I think it's really cool. It does drive me crazy that everybody and their mother has a pumpkin spice when it comes to fall these days. That's kind of overplayed. Okay, let's take a step back, guys. It's Christmas time. I think there's a lot of things we can do here with different cookies and pies and cakes and cranberry and maybe I'm just being too logical, but I obviously love that. I think that it's really cool if you have the planning and pipeline to do cool limited edition things. I think it's badass. I absolutely love the idea. We are releasing a 4th of July Venom and Veins flavor. Mm-hmm. Only available X amount of units. That's not a sales pitch. I literally am only making so many labels. I may bring it back next year if it's a hit, but I absolutely love the idea. It's awesome.
Excellent. Well, something Sandy and I have talked about, especially when reviewing proteins and nootropic formulas on there. So a lot of people will use a nootropic in lieu of coffee or an energy drink. And same thing, why don't more companies, and maybe it's an ingredient flavoring issue, why the hell don't we see more coffee-flavored nootropics and proteins on the market?
I think just because it's a little bit niche. I mean, honestly, I don't know why. I think it's a cool idea. The issue sometimes it comes down to sourcing of it, stability, and in terms of acid levels. Once again, I'm not going to claim to have the definitive answer there. I think a coffee in protein works really cool. And the issue is sometimes it can taste a little bit funky. Mm-hmm. Like if you're using actual ground coffee beans or instant coffee, it can make for a much better flavor versus doing like a coffee flavor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with peanut butter flavor versus peanut butter powder. Like, honestly, I think I've perfected this, not to brag, to the point where I have a very specific flavor that just for an allergen standpoint, I'm going to use peanut butter flavor rather than peanut butter powder. But sometimes you get a more chewed experience. In terms of why it's not more common, I don't know, man. I think that it's interesting. I do think you hit the nail on the head. I think especially in the nootropic space, it's going to be more common. I think also it's kind of like where I personally wouldn't want to drink a coffee flavored pre-workout. Because right now, that doesn't really sound good to me. And same with the protein, like that is like I personally really wouldn't want to drink. We had a mocha cappuccino PS Way. It was good, but quite frankly, that doesn't sound appealing to me after my workout. Mm-hmm. That's just my me. So I think that's the big issue is just like not an issue, just a thought process. Just like certain flavors of protein, you may try it and like, wow, this is freaking delicious. But then it's like, okay, I don't really know if I want to drink this every day. Like there was a product at Complete Nutrition. It was their V Core protein. It was an orange creamsicle flavored protein. It was delicious. Quite frankly, it tastes like an orange Julius. But at the same time, like after drinking it 2 days in a row, like I'm kind of good with this. I'm kind of done. Right. So it's just like hey, it's need variety. It can be very stagnant. And for the love of God, can people stop making fucking birthday cake?
That and unicorn flavor things. Everything is like we've tried like 3 or 4 unicorn donuts, protein bars, and everybody always tells me it's an amalgamation of different flavors. Do you know what 3 flavors are they throwing together to make these fucking unicorn flavors?
It all depends. I know that the one that Man Sports did had like a strawberry in it. The watermelon, the unicorn whatever from Bang is watermelon dragon fruit.
Hmm.
I didn't work there when I made this. I just know what it is because
Yeah.
I know because fuck everybody. But the thing is, the cool part about this, I did something that I wanted to make cool things in our line, and I'm going to do like the 4th of July flavor. It is the flavor. It has a name, like it's not calling what it is, but it's like this is our exclusive flavor name.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. You know what? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a product and call it White Dragon, and I did for the venom and veins. And well, what's White Dragon? I'm like, it's an exotic blend of orchard fruits. And people are like, oh my god, it drives them fucking crazy. This is delicious, but what is it? I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you because I don't really copying me. But then it adds to the lure.
Yeah.
Then I have people say, oh well, it's not gonna sell. People want to know what it is. I'm like, how many cans of does a White Monster sell?
Exactly.
Like, right? If it's a good flavor, it'll sell. And, it's kind of niche, but at the same time, I love doing creative shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like unicorn.
Yeah, I don't know. Every year we get bombarded by new ingredients on the industry, and this question is something I ask a bunch of different formulators that I have, and I'd like to get your input on it as well. We get hundreds of new ingredients, or each week there's like a new ingredient or two that's dropping on Nutraceuticals World or Nutri-Ingredients USA and all these other sites. And we've also got relationships with the ingredient houses, so we're on the front line of knowing when a new ingredient comes out. As a formulator, how much data do you need to see on an ingredient before you feel comfortable throwing it into a product? Because there's always that temptation to be the first one to use a new ingredient and say, "Ooh, we're the first to use this," or "We're an industry leader," and blah blah blah. How do you juggle getting the innovative ingredient out there, but making sure there's enough data to actually support or warrant its inclusion and the expense? Because these new ingredients are never cheap.
I'm just gonna give you a blunt answer here, man. It's gonna come down to the situation, what it promises to do, actual data is, and in terms like how strong is it, what subjects is it, in vivo, in vitro, is it in human people, how big is the sample size? Just there's all these different things can influence that. Then also like, okay, this is kind of cool. There's one study, but then this shit costs $600 a kilogram, and it's $4 my cost of goods. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Versus if it's something like, dude, this is a benefits. This is a really cool story you can tell. It has X amount of studies. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm impressed by this. So honestly, it's case-by-case basis, and sometimes like I'll see new things like, oh, new from X and X. I'm like, okay, so sometimes I don't mean to be dick. I just have to ask these questions because I know I'm going to get asked. For example, like, oh, this new ingredient, this. I'm like, okay, so well, what does it make it? What's the benefit of this over this competitor? And then it gave me like this blank answer. Oh, well, it has X and X studies. I'm like, okay, but that doesn't answer my question.
Right.
Like, for example, like let me see, what was good without giving it away. Like for example, if there's a type of citrus bergamot, right? Amazing for cholesterol values, lipid values, so on and so forth, even insulin sensitivity. And okay, we have X branded version of citrus bergamot at X amount of milligrams per day. I'm like, that's actually really cool. It's lower dosed. It has cool data behind it. But then, okay, how does the data of this compare directly to the regular studies that are done on X amount of citrus bergamot there traditionally? If they have a solid answer for me, I'm like, okay, I like this. Your data showed that it had these effects. And like, even if it's not like the exact same study as this, like there's still some really cool justifiable effects we saw in research. Okay.
Yeah.
This is cool. I can tell this. Or another one is like, say, dihydroberberine, like Glucovantage.
Yeah, that's one that immediately was jumping to mind. I've gotten several questions about that one.
Yeah, and that one generally it is like, oh, compared to traditional berberine hydrochloride, I wrote an article on this on LinkedIn. It's like it's 5 times as potent. And then you look at the studies, like, okay, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
In that case, you know what? I feel comfortable with this. I think it's a good ingredient. I like this. It has a story to tell. It's 5 times as potent as regular. That's cool. One that I get a lot of flack for, and I've seen people tear shit apart. I personally like it. I wouldn't use it as a standalone. It's on like S7. Mm-hmm. For example, like the claim increases nitric oxide by 230%. That sounds amazing. It's cool. The studies show that. But then again, like in the real world, what does that mean for the average person?
Correct.
When I put that in a product, I love Mark. He's an awesome guy. Cool. One of my longtime friends of Nutraceuticals. That's a great product. They have a lot of cool shit. Mm-hmm. But I use that as a standalone nitric oxide boosting supplement over nitrogen or over even citrulline or over Vaso 6.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Vaso 6 fan. I'm a nitrogen all the way, just in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't put S7 by itself. In the case of people like, oh, why'd you put S7 in this and this? I'm like, well, it's not the standalone nitric oxide driver. I have a full clinical dose of nitrogen with all these studies, but the
Yeah.
idea was to complement it by preventing the breakdown of nitric oxide by hitting this enzyme. Like, oh, that makes sense. So in that
Yeah.
case, it's like, you know what? I like it as a complementary ingredient, but it's not going to be the backbone,
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I put this ingredient here for as my fat burner. Well, okay, through this pathway may help. There's some cool data on here. Is this what I'm going to bank my entire product working on? Not so much. So it just depends on the situation, what else is in it, how expensive it is. Sometimes like, you know what? It's not a benefit. I have some decent data on it. It's not going to eat up a huge cost of my cost of goods.
Right.
Why not? So I think that that's kind of the situation. But if something is a big chunk of my cost of goods, then it better damn well have some good data to justify me using that in the study.
Yeah. Have you experimented personally, or did you toy with putting those in either Mr. Vane's or Venom, Fitnox or Citrapeak?
Interestingly, Fitnox kind of came on the scene more recently, although that was introduced to me by the Glanbia rep, I want to say probably at Expo West in January or whatever it was of 2018.
Right.
Like, oh, cool. And here's the thing. This is a perfect example of this, Fitnox. I was sitting there with the rep. Like, oh, we have a new ingredient. It's called Fitnox. They have sample packs. Here's it. I'm like, okay, so how's this compared to Vaso 6? How's this compared to nitrogen? Well, it's a really cool, like, that doesn't answer my question, guys. Like, so my thing is, if it's a great ingredient, here's the other part. Like, sometimes you'll see an ingredient come across and like, oh, we have this and this cool, and you hear about it, and like you keep hearing about it, and you see people talk about it, but then you look around, you're like, why isn't anybody using this?
Right.
So that kind of also draws another flag there. Like Fitnox, I think I've seen it used in maybe 1 or 2 actual products, and it's been on the market for 2 years. It's not a knock, but like.
Yeah.
Why use this when I have all these other ingredients? I'm not for sticking with like the stuff I love, but in that case, that's a perfect example. Like, why would I use this over the competitor? If you can't answer those type of questions, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Another one, and I apologize, I don't remember the exact question I had for it. I love compound solutions. I got a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge cyclodextrin fan. So when it comes to carb 10, I personally like using a blend of, say, carb 10, cyclodextrin, and another ingredient, which I don't want to spill because I'm releasing a carb product. When I compare, it has this data, this data, this data. I'm like, well, actually, this sounds really cool, and I like carb 10. It adjusts well. Here's this. I'm like, okay, well, how does it compare? And once again, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
In compared to cyclodextrin. We haven't done the study yet. Like, okay, so the one key question I have is how am I going to justify using this over carb 10? You don't cyclodextrin. You don't have that answer.
Right.
So that's a perfect example. Like sometimes it may look great, but then like the one thing is a key sell point. Then like, okay, if this is why I use this. Does it do the same thing here? And they can't tell me that answer. I can't remember if it was the osmolality or the gastric emptying rate. It was one of those. Like they just didn't have that specific data. I'm like, that's a huge part of why I use this.
Yeah.
But that's a good example too. So.
Gotcha.
Kind of drawn out, but it gets the point across.
No, that's perfect. Shifting to some more lighter fare as we're wrapping things up here. Give us an insight into your daily supplement regimen, and what is your typical caffeine intake per day? Are you a high-stim guy, low-stim guy, no-stim guy?
Interestingly, over the years, I've kind of gotten away from using stims. Back in the day, younger kid, like, man, I want the crack. I want to have all the good hard-hitting stuff. I want to be locked in and destroy the weights. And these days, I'm like, you know what? A lot of times, my preferred go-to stack right now, not just because I made the damn thing, perfect for me, I do a small scoop of Venom, which is 200 milligrams of caffeine at that rate, and a big scoop of Mr. Vanes. I love that combination. Personally, I don't like taking 300, 400 milligrams of caffeine before I will train. For the level I train at, especially I think like leg day, it just gets uncomfortable. Your heart rate gets too high. It's just not personally what I prefer for myself. Some people like that feeling. Some people need more caffeine. That's fine. So say in the morning, typically, I keep it actually very simple. Right now, I do a gram of TUDCA a day, split up throughout the day, general liver health, liver enzymes, and so forth, general cholesterol. This is a great overall ingredient just in terms of a lot of different things like that. I'm just trying to think of waking up in the morning. I do a shake in the morning just because convenience. That's really the only time during the day I use a shake. It's quick. I generally enjoy it in the morning. I blend it with ice. I'm like, you know what? I'm relaxed. Have shake. If not, if I feel like cooking in the morning, I'll do egg whites, whole omega-3 eggs, so on and so forth. That can diet part of it. Other than that, throughout the day, pre-training. I like a pre-workout. I do the Venom veins. That's my go-to. Dr. Fear Intra, or I'm a big fan of EAAs. I love the Pico 2 aspect of it. And then post-training, I'll do a whole food meal. Supplementation-wise, those are my main staples. I kind of address my daily health, the TIDCA, just general amino acid supplementation pre-workout. I'm a fan of joint health, so I have beta products. Of course, the joint product I'm releasing, just because, the wear and tear of my body, they start to get creaky when you're 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of course, taking your omegas, EPA, DHA, just a nice blended soft gel there I have custom made. One of my friends at a co-man. So those are my main things. Every night before bed, I'm a big fan. Pitches here until mine's released at least. I am a big fan of a scoop of the greens from Aspired Nutra. I love taking my greens before bed with a scoop of fiber. My go-to right now is the Fiber Plus from AB Health. I love that combo. I drink it every night before bed, regularity, digestive health, so on and so forth. And other than that, that's my main supplementation, man. I keep it simple. During contest prep, things get a little bit, different variables there. I may add in things like phosphatidylserine for the cortisol mitigation aspect of it, deeper in prep. But overall, that's just kind of my personal daily stack. At least as some of this RX stuff come out here, like I'm looking forward to the lipid ones especially, because my cholesterol notoriously, just genetically, isn't the greatest. So I want to address that. Other than that, I do like using citrus bergamot just straight. Is one thing I'll add in quite a bit as well. So that's another thing I take as a staple.
Excellent. And with regards to training, one of the biggest debates kind of in the evidence-based community has been the whole volume versus intensity debate. Where do you fall in that as the primary driver for hypertrophy, and how do you approach your training?
Both. Once again, the biggest part, and I learned this over the years, when I started really focusing on this, I got even better results. The key isn't to just move the weight. The key is to work the muscle. So no matter what it is, the better mind-muscle connection you have when it comes to any of your training, the more you're going to stimulate that for overall growth. I mean, it is humbling to take a step back and focus on loading the muscle. Like I'm a big fan of a lot of it's done in the eccentric phase, the lowering phase. Like if you can control the dumbbell tempo, like say dumbbell incline press, right? 3, 2, 1, pause, and a hard flex up, contract the muscle like a 3, 1, 1 tempo. Honestly, that works best for me. In terms of volume, I don't believe in, I always put it this way, you want to cut a few trees down in the forest, but don't burn the whole forest to the ground, because you do have to keep into consideration long-term central nervous system health. That's the part two. In terms of general training program structure, I think the biggest way to sum it up, if you're familiar with mountain dog training, like John Meadows, fantastic training program. He does a good job at undulating volume, waves, so on and so forth. I tend to program very similarly, and sometimes if I'm just feeling lazy, I'm like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to do mountain dog for 12 weeks programs. He does a great job. He's very similar training style, intensity-wise. So I do undulate, some are more strength-based, more hypertrophy-based. You're not going to see me doing just like drop set after superset. Like, you have to kind of balance that. Once in a while, throwing that in as like a finisher, awesome. Band work, same thing. The key is you need to stimulate, not annihilate. The key is, I think was it Dorian Yates or whoever said this, is like, oh, so which works better, heavyweight or more reps? Works best is heavyweight or more reps.
More reps, exactly, yeah.
And as brutal as that sounds, that's the thing. So taking a step back, focusing on muscle, focusing on technique, performance, and then gradually pushing yourself to push that heavier weight with that perfection. To me, that's the best recipe. And then, of course, is being smart. Just listen to your body, listen to my volume.
Gotcha. Favorite exercise and least favorite exercise?
Long pause. Honestly, it's like a fucking tool. I mean, I kind of like them all. Absolutely hate training abs. Anything ab related, I absolutely hate. So I don't really do them. And this is the part to piss people off, because obviously in contest prep, I just naturally have very thick, blocky abs and obliques, and that's one of my strong points these days competing. They're very thick. They pop pretty soon in contest prep, so I don't train them. I just fucking hate training abs. I'm like, whatever. Plus, abs are made in the kitchen. In terms of favorite, fuck, man, that's hard, because it depends on the muscle group. Overall, I love training back, so I was a strength of mine. I'm a fucking masochist. So I love training legs twice a week. I love chest day. Honestly, the one I pay the least attention to is shoulders, just because I do very heavy volume on back and very heavy volume on chest. So if I do shoulders, kind of a light touch-up. So each muscle group has a favorite. I absolutely love for quads. If I have a good one, I love doing the hack squat. Freaking has done amazing things to blow up my quad sweeps. A lot of bang for the buck. You can change your foot position. It's a very versatile exercise. There are different variations of leg press. Most people, they see, my build, like, oh man, you must squat like 500 pounds. I mean, quite frankly, I barbell squat very, very Rarely. My lower back just blows up. I've never had back problems, but for whatever reason, my back blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Chest-wise, I'm using a machine. My absolute favorite machine for chest is a wide hammer strength press. If you have one of those, like the wide pressing in,
Yep.
amazing stretch with the press, or that I'm a huge fan of dumbbell incline. A lot of bang for the buck. See, I'm genetically blessed with calves, so everybody's like, man, fuck you. Calf raises. Back, shit, man. It's hard to beat heavy dumbbell row or like a different hammer. I love hammer strength machines. Or if you even have them yet, better yet, prime.
Yeah.
So, shit, man. I like them all.
There you go.
Or cardio.
Awesome. Product you are most proud of that you have formulated, and you can also give the answer of it hasn't been developed yet. I'll give you that out too.
So far that I'm most proud of, probably Icon was cool because it was a very different product. It went through a lot of different pathways. It was very different, and quite frankly, it was one of the best pre's on the market. Still is in terms of what it does. The bang for the buck is just very expensive, and a lot of people can wrap their head around what it does. Other than that, I'd say probably the biggest thing, at least in my opinion, from the feedback I've gotten, I'm glad is reaffirmed, was I was a little nervous. Anytime you replace a big product like Venom, where it has things in it, it's a high intensity one, you always worry it's going to hit as hard. When you can do things like that, change the formula, people say it hits even harder without having to use things like the Ariagerensis and that type of thing. Yeah. I'd say it's a pretty big accomplishment. And in terms of things I'm quite proud of, I think, honestly, some of my best work, just from how it complements each other, you can build that out with probably this RX line. You can tell I'm very hyped about it just because it's cool, man. It's very different from everything I've always done. I've done so many pre-workouts, aminos. Having the chance to make something super cool like this, it just in kind of a different space and get creative in ways I haven't got the opportunity to do, I think this will be very cool because the look of it is just beautiful. I'll show you some pictures after we're done here. I can't obviously.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if people can see this anywhere. If I don't watch it live and listen, so it isn't good. But dude, I'm pumped for that. So
excellent.
That's probably the summary there.
Okay. Which of your former employers do you want to punch in the face the most? I'm kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't
I
answer
think I already know. I mean, I think it's most people want to punch in the face.
Oh man, I just had to get one last laugh in there. Drew, this was a hell of a good time, man. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I'm pretty sure the listeners out there will really enjoy this one. This is the part where you can shamelessly plug anything and everything that you would like to.
Honestly, the same thing. I think everybody that knows me, I'm quite visible on forums there. I have no problem talking. So asking questions, I've never had a problem to recommend different products, different brands. I've been in this space a long time. I'll have a lot of good close friends, of course, to have in this industry. But in terms of what we have here at Dragon Pharma, guys, personally, if something I don't like in terms of flavor formula, if I don't approve it, I don't like it, it doesn't go out the door. I'm not going to release something just to release it. I truly get to have full control over what goes out because I have to like it and justify it. And quite frankly, my face is over every fucking product. I'm the one that does the videos. I'm the one that is kind of the face of that brand. So if something doesn't succeed or isn't good, that reflects on me. I take this very, very personally. Even though I did it pro subs and other places where, we had a cool brand, this reflects on me. This is my baby in terms of the formulas. So I'm very proud of the brand. I think everything that we've released, the Venom, the Veins, the Fear, the Dry Up, all this stuff is awesome. And I think you'll love it if you try it. I stand behind the formulas, in my opinion, is one of the best out there. I never say the best because there are good products. And once again, you have to compare things to comparable space. But I'm very excited for the RX line, guys. I think if you are looking for general health, I think that this would be something everyone could benefit from. I'm very excited, and I'd love to hear the feedback we get from it. So this as a whole, guys, we have cool things going Dragon Pharma. I'd love for everybody to try it, get their feedback, and once again, just become part of the brand because I take great pride in being approachable and also being visible. I have conversations with a lot of people. They message me. I do Q&As every single week. So if you ever need anything, have questions, I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to talk. I'm a formulator. I'm a scientist. At the end of the day, I'm a sales guy. But I also live this, breathe this. I do this 24/7. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a nutrition coach. And I'm a formulator. So guys, we're all in this together. We want to make you cool shit. And this is what's going to help our industry grow. So that's my shameless pitch.
Excellent, man. That was a hell of a way to wrap things up. Thank you again for your time today, and best of luck growing Dragon Pharma into a beast.
Always, man. Thank you for having me.
All right.